Hello, Blizzard fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another Daily Blizzard upload. This is a game between Patience and Jaedong on Vaani Research Station. Now, this is from the quarterfinals of the Gfinity Spring Masters II tournament that just finished up this last Sunday, so it is a very recent replay. I'm very proud to bring it to you. In the top of the screen of Vaani Research Station, we have the red Potos player, Patience, and in the bottom of the screen we have the blue Zerg player Jaedong. Now Jaedong really needs no introduction. If you've watched any of my videos in the last couple of weeks, you'll recognize him, and if you're familiar with Starcraft 2 at all in the professional scene, you will like him as well. Jaedong is an amazing Zerg player. He has many tournaments under his belt, many high finishes, and he is a very intimidating opponent for any Protoss player that he comes up against. Now, Patience is from the guild Dead Pixels, and he is a fairly, not a bit of a newcomer, actually, to the game. He did actually join Prime in 2012 in Wings of Liberty, and then in 2013 he left them and did actually compete in the Global Starcraft 2 Team League Season 2 in that same season. So he's a pretty good player. He has a couple, top 3, top 4 finishes under his belt, but really nothing too crazy when compared to the resume of Jaedong. So here we have Jaedong and Patience, the scouting pro, being super annoying, but actually secret expansion over here at the gold for Jaedong. So he feels pretty comfortable, and I did actually forget to mention this is part of a best of 5 series between the two players. Jaedong is currently up 2-1, and this is game 4. So if Jaedong actually wins this game, he will win the entire series and move on to the semifinals, whereas Patience, if he loses, he is actually out of the tournament and will have to try again next time. So we'll have to see what goes on between these two guys. I really don't like Patience's spot, though, because, holy smokes, that this gold hatchery was taken. But the Zealot came down, and he's actually going to try to harass this a little bit, trying to take down this egg here, which is difficult to do. But the Zerglings pop out, and oh man, a swipe got off on one of those Zerglings. Holy cow. And here he goes, going to town on another egg. This one is actually a drone, so if he's not careful, Jaedong might lose this drone here as well. But here we go, 6 Lings come in. Just about enough, but a good positioning from the Zealot means that only 3 Zerglings at a time can attack. He's able to get... Does he even get a kill there before he dies? I think he gets 1 kill, but that's a fair trade, I think. 1 Zergling for 1 Zealot is enough for Jaedong. Queen pops out here as well. It's essentially 3 base here to 2 base for the Protoss, and that gold is really going to come into play here in the rest of the game. That's going to snowball out of control unless Patience can take that out. So what's his response? Getting up a Stalker, researching that Warp Gate. Very intelligent choice. You need that, and a Forge. So maybe he wants some cannons for defense. Maybe he wants to get those upgrades started immediately. And man, I feel like those Zerglings could get in there and get some scouting off. There's really nothing holding this, as you'll notice. But, anyway, here we go, and Stalker popping out, just scouting a little bit. She might get, actually, he will get a free Overlord kill here, as he was just trying to scout, but in the end, he's going to get sniped down. This is not enough Zerglings to kill that Stalker, especially with good micro, especially with the Mothership Core overhead. So unfortunately, this guy's going to die. One of the observers actually says, "Who's lagging?" And man, did I call that dead? Yes, I did. I called it correctly, but he survived a little bit longer, but the vision given by the Mothership Core to this higher ground allowed the Stalker to kill it. So, but this guy actually gets the full scout off. Man, did he see everything that was going on? He did. He got a full scout. He's going to die as well, but he did his job in service to the Overmind, and in the end, he explodes as well. So, 3 bases. It is 35 to 32 Harvesters right now. What are we doing? There we go. We're going to go back to everybody. Trying to delay that Nexus are those Zerglings, but Mothership Core and the Stalker shoo them away. So 3 bases can be kind of scary to deal with as a Zerg player. It just means the player knows what they're doing. They are macroing very well, and that Death Ball push can be a little bit more devastating if there are 3 bases rather than 2. The observers are deciding who's lagging. And it's a little bit distracting, but we'll try to avoid that from now on. A bunch of Zerglings popping right on in. They're going to try to get up this ramp. And they do. They get right actually inside the main here. He kind of force fields himself out. Does Patience, and these Zerglings are going to town on these workers. Pretty good micro, though. 2 zealots coming in as well are going to help to get rid of these zerglings, and they're going to try to take down the sentry. They managed to do so. Big deal, but photon overcharge coming down on that nexus, taking down zerglings one by one. But more and more zerglings popping in. The wall is up now with the zealot and the sentry. The zerglings actually forced the cancel on that third base. They're going to take down these pylons as well, which I don't think, no, it will not supply block patience, but it is very annoying nonetheless. He's back on 2 base. He wanted to be on 3. That was not going to happen with this zergling pressure. So nice job there from Jaedong. I think the gold actually helped him do that. With the increased mineral income, he could make more zerglings without worrying about sacrificing drones too much. You'll notice it's still 54 to 44 harvesters on Jaedong's part. And Patience is actually in a bit of trouble here. I don't know if he can move out and take this third base at all with these sentries, with these 2 zealots. Are there any stalkers left at all? Units tab. No stalkers whatsoever. 46 harvesters, 2 zealots, and 4 sentries in a mothership core. This is not great whatsoever. What's Jaedong's response going to be? Does he want to put the hammer down? No, he wants to macro up, actually. He's going to get his advantage and push it farther and farther as he can, making a hatchery for his 4th base and what most people would consider their natural. So 4th base coming down, zerglings being very active, looking for proxy pylons, looking for things that can cause him trouble and catch him off guard. So again, Zerg players, this is what you want to do with your zerglings. You want to get them out and scouting and moving, and I know it takes APM, but you really have to do it against a Protoss player. So this guy's scouting in, checks out what he can see. He says, all right, there is a natural, or a 3rd base coming back up. That is not good for me. I'm going to see if he's going to try to deny it again, maybe with zerglings, maybe with roaches, getting the roach speed right now, and hydralisks as well. So Hydra's popping out. There it is, getting that range upgrade. The creep spread is actually getting a little ridiculous right now, pushing up almost halfway across the map here at the 10-minute mark. There's pretty much nothing that Patience has been able to do to slow this down whatsoever. Making an observer there, that should be good for him. But I think we're going to see a Roach Hydra timing attack that could be pretty devastating, because sentries aren't great against Hydras. They can outrange those force fields. Stalkers and Zealots obviously melt to Hydras as well. Pretty much to deal with them, you need to get out Colossus and possibly Immortals, depending on how things go. But man, this is a pretty big Hydra ball. This is a lot. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 Hydras with the range attack. I don't know how this is going to go for Patience. Is Jaedong going to push out or not? I don't quite know. Income tab 68 to 63 harvesters. So this base is actually up. Patience did a good job with his timing, knowing he was safe to take that, or at least risking it. And in the end, it paid off. He has enough workers to pretty much fully saturate this now, and this is where the Protoss War Machine can really turn into something dangerous. We're actually making an Immortal here. I wonder if that's a blind decision. Maybe he thinks there's a lot of roaches that are coming from Jaedong instead of Hydras. But either way, this is going to be very, very dangerous for Patience to deal with. Here comes the group. They're splitting up. They're going to come from the right side, they're going to come from the left side, and yeah, we're going to zoom out a little bit. Photon overcharge going down right now. Actually, a hallucinated Colossus might be enough to scare this push off. One Colossus can really make the difference against a Roach Hydra army, and especially with the photon overcharge going off overhead, that's going to last forever, and actually does cause Jaedong to hang out a little bit. He doesn't want to commit right now, especially with what he thinks is a Colossus in there. So he's just he's really setting up his army into 3 separate groups to move on in from every angle. And here we come. No, I think he might have mistimed that photon overcharge, but no, now he comes in and commits. Roach is sniping down that photon cannon. Force fields going down, catching a couple roaches and Hydras. Good play from Patience. He's defending very, very well, but I just don't think it's enough against this attack. We'll have to see. I'm going to stop speculating and just start casting now. This group from the left does have +1 attack on these ranged upgrades. Are there any Zerglings in the group? No, it's pretty much Roaches and Hydras. 192 to 144. Jaedong is maxed out here at the 13-minute mark with Roaches, Hydras, and Lings, which is huge. Trying to snipe down that Pinelet. Another photon overcharge comes down. That's got to be kind of frustrating for Jaedong. He doesn't want to attack while that overcharge is running. It just does so much damage, and there's really nothing Jaedong can do about it. Is he going home? As we zoom back in, yeah. The army's heading back home. I don't see any Warp Prism drops or anything from Patience. Oh boy, what's the... I don't know. Did that... I mean, he's maxed out. He pretty much needs to go now before... Okay, actual Colossus are out now. Is Patience making more of those? No, but he's probably waiting for gas to do it. He does have 6 gas. Oh, he only has 2 workers on this geyser. Oh no, he should have 3. That's going to slow down a little bit. And really getting your economy slowed down a little bit is actually enough to lose you games in tournaments like this against professional players. So Oh boy, hope he fixes that soon. The roaches and hydras are kind of just hanging out. Look at this creep spread. He can see Patience's base from here. 4 more creep tumors are going to be up to here in no time at all. Patience is going to try to move out and find himself besieged on every side by this purple goop, pretty much meaning that Jaedong can see every attack that comes his way. It has to be so frustrating to deal with. As a Protoss player, you can't really sit back and do nothing. It is nice to macro up. It is nice to get a giant death ball, but man, at the cost of map control, it can just be so dangerous. As we have another Colossus coming out. Where did that first Colossus go? Units, was that hallucinated? Did it get sniped off? I don't know what's going on. I'm maybe not paying attention. And yeah, here comes the Stalker hit squad coming out to take down this creep as best it can. But the roaches and hydras come up and say, nuh-uh, you try to take this down, you will die. And the Blink Stalkers say, you're right, it's my bad, sorry, and heads on out. So this probe maybe trying to throw down a proxy pylon, but there is creep there. You cannot build on creep. Here comes the push. Waiting for the Vipers was Jaedong, coming up right behind the mineral line, killing so many workers. Here come the Vipers. They're going to try to pull in some of these Colossus, but there are a lot of hallucinated ones as well, and I don't think Jaedong can tell the difference. Sniping in the Immortals, actually, and actually does manage to get the one of the Colossus that are real, getting sniped down immediately. There are a few Roaches and Hydras left, but I don't know. I think they're going to get cleaned up. Yes, the Stalkers do clean them up. The Colossus cleans it up with 5 kills on his own. Small group of Hydras coming on in, getting melted down by these Colossus. And yes, that's the end of them. The Overlord was pooping to slow down this 4th base, and he gets killed as well. So, quick remax, though, from Jaedong. He's already back up to 199 supply. Units tab does show 29 Roaches, 3 Vipers, and 15 Hydras. We're going to go back to the production tab now. +3 ranged attack is on the way, making these units even more powerful. And boy, I'm learning a lot from watching these games. As a Zerg player, I didn't think Roach Hydra was good against Protoss, just because the Colossus are so fantastic. And as we see, the Colossus did do a good job there in melting some of that down. It did actually keep Patience alive against that attack, but the Vipers sucking down energy off this hatchery to get up enough to throw down some, perhaps some Contaminates, perhaps some Abducts, some Yoinks, as I like to call them. Patience to being really more active now, taking down Overlords, trying to push back this creep as best he can. But here come the Roaches and Hydras. They're going to try to cut off the retreat of this group, forcing the cancel on that 4th base, taking down another pylon. And Patience just has to be so frustrated right now. He's trying to take a 4th. He really can't do it. There's no way with his huge remax. Same spot coming up for Jaedong, coming up along the back side, yoinking in a hallucinated Colossus and killing it. Storms going down everywhere on these units. Doing a good job on the Hydralisks. Good micro here from Patience, moving back and forth, not really letting himself stay in range of this DPS for too long. But it looks like the Nexus is going to go down. There are enough units up top attacking. It does explode in a shower of blue sparks. And Patience is now down to 2 bases against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases for the Zerg player. Does not look good for him in the long run. Roaches, Hydras pushing on up. There's a single Colossus trying to be microed back and forth. He does have 19 kills. Is it enough? And yes, it is. Patience cleans up that attack, but he did lose the Nexus, which really hurts him. He needs to replant that as soon as possible. He doesn't quite have enough minerals to do it, though. And here comes the counterattack from Patience. He knows, I need to win this now. I need to push out now or I am in huge trouble. But Jaedong has remaxed already back up to 200 out of 200 supply. Patience thinks about going home but says, I can't do it. I need to put on some pressure. I need to get up here and see what damage I can do. Even if I have to go on the creep, even if it's scary, I need to do it. Bringing probes as well to soak up some of that damage. A couple Roaches back here being annoying, slowing down this push just a little bit. There are a couple High Templar. They have enough energy for Storms. We'll have to see what Patience can do here. He has a pretty good death ball. Where is the army? There is the army for Jaedong, swooping right on in, abducting one of the Colossus. It dies immediately. Can he get the other one? It doesn't matter. Patience calls the GG, and Jaedong moves on to the semifinals of the Gfinity Spring Masters II Championship and Tournament. So, pretty fantastic game there from Jaedong. Feel like he pretty much outclassed Patience on every angle there, just in macro. Patience's micro was good, but he just was never able to get up that 200 death ball that is so scary and so dangerous for the Protoss player. He really didn't do much harassment either. He did a good job in the early game, forcing Zerglings out here at this gold base, but in the end, he didn't do any Warp Prism harassment. He didn't do any Phoenix harassment. He didn't do a lot of things he has to do against Zerg to slow down this Zerg macro ability. I mean, at 66 Harvesters, I feel like Jaedong was there for pretty much 75% of the game. And in the end, it helped. He remaxed 2 times to take this out. All of his roaches and hydras are at +3 attack here. Just fantastic play from him. And that's it. So, this has been Falcon Paladin with another daily StarCraft 2 professional cast. If you liked what you saw today, hit that like button, hit that subscribe to catch future games that I am planning to display on my channel. You can also find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch, all at /FalconPaladin. Very easy to find. And until next time, I thank you for watching, and you take care of yourself.